Sure, but let's look at the pros and the cons. And for this discussion, let's just consider them all one document. So we have temporary restraining orders, we have orders of protection, and maybe another document or tool that is used by the court system where somebody lives. So all of those documents we're going to consider one thing. Now, it is a useful tool, but it is not one that protects us. And that's an important distinction. A lot of people think, well, if I get the order of protection or I get a restraining order, I'm going to be safe. And in my experience, it's the exact opposite, only because of the type of personality that bad guys tend to have when their victim actually says, "Oh my God, I need to get a restraining order on this person." The bad guy will typically get pissed off. Maybe they'll get enraged. They're going to be angry. They're going to be embarrassed, and they're going to be challenged. So all of that increases the risk of me being physically harmed. So I need to know that up front. Now, that's obviously a pretty huge con. So what is the pro of getting one of these documents? First of all, it sets up the legal system in your favor. So let's say you have a stalker, and by them sitting in front of your house and calling your name, staring at you, let's say it's determined that that is a misdemeanor harassment charge or some sort of community disturbance charge that law enforcement can apply on that person. If they have a bunch of those misdemeanors, and then let's say I were to go get an order of protection on this person, now the next time they do that exact same thing, same behavior, now in many cases that automatically bumps it up to a felony when it used to be a misdemeanor. So that makes it easier for the legal system to hold this person accountable and possibly make an arrest or prosecute. Now, get back to what I said earlier, it does put me in danger. So it helps the court system, and it even helps future victims of this person in many cases, because now we have this paper trail of harassment or criminal behavior on an individual. But for me, the person that's filing this paperwork right away, I really need to discuss it with my attorney, with my law enforcement officials, and see if it's the best tool that I should use at that time. For me personally, the first thing I need to do before I get that order of protection is harden the target. What can I do based on my habits and my physical security measures that will put me in a safer position should this person become pissed off and attack me simply because I took out that restraining order? So I'm just going to plan ahead for their attack or their response. So I'm going to harden the target, get things in place. Then, if needed, I will go ahead and file that document. Again, not to keep me safe, but because when this person escalates, it's going to provide a benefit to law enforcement officers when it comes to making an arrest and prosecution as well. So I know that's not the answer you probably wanted to hear, but the truth of the matter is if you have a stalker, you have someone who's harassing you, abusing you, you've got to take care of the immediate security or your safety habits first. Then, if appropriate, and you make the decision to do so, go ahead and file that restraining order, knowing or at least expecting. Now, if you're wrong, that's beautiful. Just be ready for them to attack. Expect them to attack. Expect for that tempo to increase, and understand that most people of the harassment and stalker mentality can be quite crafty, can be pretty creative, as much as they are violent. So the paper, who does it help again? Helps law enforcement make an arrest or charge that person the next time they're called out for the same behavior. And it will help prosecution, but it will increase, in my experience, the danger level. So I'm not the only one who has an opinion on the topic. Go ahead and listen to some different people, see what they say. Again, talk to law enforcement folks and find out what they think as well. That way you can make better decisions for yourself and not just trust me or some single other person.